We will back up a database called JB Credit on the South India Managed Instance, JB-pubmi-pra-si Managed Instance, and then restore that backup on the South India Managed Instance, that is JB-dist-mi-pra-si. So what we'll do is let's look at the failover group configuration of each of these managed instance. And what I understand is this particular managed instance that is on South India acts as the primary instance, and then this managed instance which is in Central India is the secondary instance. And same way for JB-dist-mi-pra-si, this particular managed instance that is on South India is the primary instance, and then this managed instance in Central India is the secondary instance. So we have failover group configure between these two managed instances and then between these two managed instances. So what I understand is the South India managed instances are primary and the Central India managed instances are secondary as far as the failover group is concerned. So now what we'll do is we will back up the database JB Credit on this particular managed instance and then restore that backup onto this particular managed instance. Let's get started. So what I'll do is I will first create this credentials just to make sure I'm able to access the storage account and also this container. I've created it already, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up this JB Credit database which is on JB Pub MI. So let's refresh this instance and then check the database. So we have this database called JB Credit, and if we see here, there are no object in this particular table in this database. So what we'll do is we will create a dummy table on this one. So table 1, column 1, integer primary key, date 1, comma, and col2 varchar 25. Let's create that, and then what I'll do is let me insert close to 100 rows onto this particular table just to make sure we have some data. Let's insert some data. Then let me do a checkpoint too. Yep, done. So what I'll do is now we have this database with some data. So what I'll do is I will back up this database JB Credit to this particular storage account and to this container, and I will name this backup as database name underscore today's date, which is 29 October 2022. Let me remove that extra one, and the option here I'll be using is with copy only, because this is the only option that is you can take only full database copy only backup on managed instance. If we take any other backup, which is definitely not possible, there is a high possibility it can screw up your existing automated backups by taken by managed instance. So that's the reason the only option available for taking a full database backup is through the copy only option. So let's start that. And what you are seeing is we are getting an error stating the backup operation for a database with service managed transparent data encryption is not supported on managed instance. So that's the message we are getting. So what we'll do is let's execute this query. And then if we see here, the encryption state is set to 3.3. That means it is encrypted basically. Yep. So that's the understanding. So if you want to check that, you can see this one here. So if you basically see the value of 3 basically tells it is encrypted. So right now both these databases are encrypted, and then encrypted thumbprint for this particular database is basically this one. And to understand the error that we are basically getting as far as this backup database is concerned, it is basically telling like we haven't service managed transparent data encryption, and that is not letting us to take a backup here. So what we need to do is like we need to change the service managed transparent data encryption to customer key. Yep. So if you look at the transparent data encryption. So we have the service managed key, which we are on this one right now, which is default. We basically have to change it to customer managed key. And once we do that, that basically allows us to start performing the backups, copy only backups and things like that. Let's go ahead and do that. For that, we require key vaults to be created on each of these locations. So let's start with the key vaults, and then let's create the key and then change the data encryption, transparent data encryption for each of these instances to customer managed key. Let's go to the key vault. Then we'll be creating two key vault, one for the South India location and another one is for the Central India region, because we have managed instance in the failover group. One is in South India and another one is in Central India. So we will create two key vaults here. The first one, let's start with the South India. So I'm creating a new key vault. Let me name that as JB key vault -si, which basically stands for it's already in use. So what I'll do is like I will create it as we don't see any other key vaults here, to be frank. Let's look at it. But yeah, so what we'll do is like we will create JB key vault -si, and we will mention that it is for the MI. So that way we will know that. But let me check if there are any keywords. There seems to be no keywords. Maybe something was deleted recently. But yeah, so I will name this keyword as JB-keyword-MI-SI, which stands for South India. So let's pick up South India here. I will go with the standard. Next, I will go with the default values here. Next one, again, it is going to be all default. And then I'm just going to let the validation complete and then check it one more time. JB key vault MI-SI. It is going to be created in South India, and then it is on South India region. So let me start it. Once this is created, what I'll do is like I will create one more key vault. So let this run. In the meantime, what I'll do is like I will create one more key vault for the Central India region. So let's click on create, and then resource group would be for the CI, which is Central India. And then what I'll do is like I will create a key vault in Central India. I'm going to select the region as Central India. It would be default here, default one, which is standard. Everything else is going to be default. So here it is going to be default. Again, this screen is also going to be default. Yep, let's review it once and then we will create it. So resource group is right. Key vault name is JB key vault MICI. Region is Central India. So let's create this one too. So once this is created, what I'll do is like I will create a key on the South India key vault, and then I will back up that and then restore it on the Central India key vault. And after that, what I'll basically do is like I will enable customer managed key on the transparent data encryption for each of these managed instance, and then we will start a backup and see if it completes, and then we'll try restoring it onto the other managed instance. So the key vault is created in Central India too. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to the South India key vault here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on keys here. And what I'll do, I will click on generate. There are two options here. Either you create it here and then you download, or you select the customer managed key and then you can create a key from here, but what I'll do is like I will create it here. So here I'm going to select the options generate here. Yeah. So name would be JB hyphen key hyphen MI hyphen SI, which is South India. So key type would be RSA key size 2048. I'm not going to select an activation and expiration date, and also like I'm not going to configure the key rotation policy. If it is going to be a production, we will have to do this for security purpose, but as of now, I will use these settings and then click on create. So the key is created now, so I'm going to get into this key, and what I'm going to do is like I'm going to download the backup of this particular key. So let me click on download, and then what I'll do is like I will create this on C drive. Maybe I will create a folder called key, and then I will save it here. It is saved now. So what I'll do is like I will go back to the key vaults. Now we know like we have it in the South India region. So let's go to the Central India, click on keys. And here what I'm going to do is like I'm going to click on restore backup, and then go to C drive, and then go to the downloaded key. I've exported this from the South India region key vault. Now I'm going to put it in the Central India region key vault. It is done now. So let's go to the managed instance in the Azure portal, and then what we'll do is like we will enable customer managed key as far as the TDE is concerned. And once that is done, we will go ahead with it. So what I'll do, I will go to the managed instance. I will first go with the JB Pub MI PRA SI. That's the primary managed instance as far as the failover group is concerned. So just click on the failover group. Let's make sure like we see that. So so right now I'm in JB Pub MI PRA SI. That's the primary, and then this is the secondary instance. So what I'm going to do is like I'm going to start with the primary. So I'm going to change it as customer managed key. Key selection method would be select a key. I'm going to change a key here. Going to select the key vault, go to the key vault in South India, and then what I'll do is like I will select this particular key that we have created, and then I will click on select the other option. Instead of creating the keys on your key vault, you can click on this create a new key, and then you can do it from here also. So I've saved it. The important thing here is like first time when you're doing it on the primary, you just need to uncheck this particular option and then click on save. So once this is saved, what we need to do is like we need to go to the secondary managed instance that is part of this failover group and do the same thing there with a slight change. I will tell you what is a slight change. Let's click on customer managed key. Key selection method, it's going to be a select a key, and then key would be like on the key vault in Central India region, because this particular managed instance in Central India. So I'm going to select this one, and then we have this particular version here, and then going to select it. Here I'm going to check this, leave this checked here. On the primary we unchecked it, but now I'm going to leave it enabled here, and then I'm going to click on save here. So once this is done, what I'll do is like, let's wait for this to complete. Once this is saved, I will go back to the primary managed instance, and then I will enable the customer managed key one more time, and then I will enable this, make this key the default TDE protector there also. So let's wait for this to complete. It's done now. Now what I'll do is like I'll go back to the primary managed instance, and then I'm going to select this customer managed key, and then I'm going to select a key for key selection method, and then I will do this. I will select the key vault here, and then I will select the South India key vault because this managed instance is in South India. Let me select this and then click on select. I will leave this, make this key the default TDE protector enabled, and then save it this time again. So this is going to be the difference. So on the primary managed instance, you will do all these things. You will leave this unselected and then save it. Go to the secondary managed instance, do the same thing. Leave this, make this key the default TDE protector enabled, and then save it. Come back to the primary managed instance, and then you do the same thing. And this time, leave this, make this key the default TDE protector enabled, and then save it. And that should be the thing. Let's wait for this to complete. Cool, it is saved now. So let's go to the secondary and let's verify it if everything is fine. Just on the TDE, so all looks good. And let's go to the primary again. I think everything seems to be good here also. So now what we'll do is like we will go to this JB dist MI PRASI, and then if you look at the failover groups, yeah, you will see that this particular managed instance is a primary instance, and then this particular managed instance in central India is your secondary instance. So what I'll do, I'll go to the transparent data encryption here, select the customer managed key, and then I will use key selection method as select a key. And then as far as the key is concerned, I will use the key vault and then go to the South India managed instance because this is in South India. And now I will select this particular key, and this is the version. So let's click on select, uncheck this one, and then click on save. Let's wait for it to get saved. It is saved now. What we'll do now, we'll go to the secondary managed instance that is on the failover group. And now we'll do the same thing here. Select customer managed key, key selection method, select a key, and then here key vault. I will select the CI, which is Central India, and then I will select the required key. And then we have the correct version. So click on select. I will leave this enabled. Click on save. Let's wait for it to get saved. Gonna take some time. Once this is done, what we'll do, we will do the same thing on your primary managed instance also. This is done. Yeah, it's saved. Now go back to the primary managed instance and then select customer managed key. Select your key is the key selection method, and the key I will use the key vault. Use the South India key vault and then select the required key, and the version seems to be okay. Leave this, make this key the default TDE protector enabled, and then click on save. Seems to be looking okay. It is saved now. So let's go back to the secondary and see if everything is okay as far as the TDE is concerned. It is set to, if you see here, so it is set to this one, the customer managed key, and then go to the primary two. Again here, it is set to customer managed key. Everything seems to be same. So now what we have done is like we have created the key and then used customer managed key for transparent data encryption for all the 4 managed instances that is part of your failover group. Now let's go back to the SSMS. So we know like previously when we were using service managed key, this was the thumbprint there, and now what we'll do is like we will execute this query and see what is the status. Again, encryption state is basically 3, which means like it is all encrypted. Just look at the encrypted thumbprint, it is now changed. Yeah. So this is the old one and this is the new one we got after we changed it to customer managed key. So what we will do now is like we will back up this database JB credit with copy only and see if it works at least now. Let's go ahead and do it. So what I'm seeing is like the file back exists on the, oh, okay. So that means like this backup already exists there. So let's check that. Let's go to their SQL backup. Yeah, we are seeing a lot of backups. So what we'll do is like we will delete all the backups here. And then we will try the backup one more time and see if it completes this time. It is JB credit. Everything looks okay. Let's execute it. Okay, this time the backup completed. Now, if we refresh it, yeah, I'm able to see the backup That's good. So now what I'm going to do is like I'm going to restore this backup. So just a recap, we took a backup of JB Credit database onto this particular storage account. This is the container and this is the file name of the backup with an option of copy only on JB pub MIPRASI. So now we are going to restore this backup onto the other managed instance, which is basically JB dist MIPRASI. So let's change the file name here and then the backup database name also. Okay, just we will make sure we don't have any backup with that name. Let's check that. So we have refreshed it. We don't have any backups there. So what we'll do is like we will restore it. Before that, you need to create the credential on this particular managed instance. I've done that already. If you want, you can do it. Make sure the credentials are there before initiating the restore. So let's start the restore now. So the restore thinking it should have started. Let's see. Refreshing. Okay, it is going on. Let's see. Let's wait for some time to make sure like whether it is failing or it has completed. One thing to remember is like when you start the backup, when you start the restore, this is part of a failover group, this particular instance. So it has to basically do the same thing on the failover group partner also. So it's going to take time. So we will wait for this to complete and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so the restore is completed now. So if I refresh it, yep, the restore is completed. So if you see here, we have the backup database both on JB pub MIPRASI and JB dist MIPRASI. So this is the way how we can take a backup from one managed instance and restore it onto other managed instance. It is very much required if you want to do a copy only backup that the transparent data encryption is using the customer managed key and not the service managed key. And once we enable customer managed key with the required key vault and things, we will be able to back up the database and restore it to other managed instances wherever we can configure customer managed key appropriately. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Jai Hind.